What is negotiable instruments? The name itself, it is going to say it have the negotiable nature, transferable in nature. The name itself, it is going to say it is negotiable instrument. It have a transferability nature. Student loan promissory note. So the name itself, it is going to say, so if a student want to take a loan from the bank. Demand bill. So on the basis of on demand, we are going to give the bills of exchange that we call it as a demand bill. Hello everybody, a warm welcome to one and all. I am Mr. Hemant Kumar from the Department of Commerce and Management, Vidhyaashram First Grade College, MYSURU, the Temple of Excellence. In today's session, we are going the subject called Business Law. It's about 6th semester BBA students. We are in session 1 of Unit 3. It is about Negotiable Instrument Act 1881. This is agenda of today's session. We are going with the topic of meaning and definition of Negotiable Instruments Act, characteristics of a Negotiable Instrument Act, and also kinds of negotiable instruments, promissory note, bills of exchange, and checks. So these are the negotiable instruments. There are 3 kinds of negotiable instruments. Okay, number 1 is promissory note, number 2 bills of exchange, number 3 it is check. And also we are going with its types and characteristics. Parties to negotiable instruments. Who are all the parties that is going to participate in Negotiable Instruments Act? Okay, means who are all the parties who are going to take or give the negotiable instruments? Who are all the people who are going to involve in this process? Dishonor of negotiable instruments. So it is a way how we are going to dishonor. Okay, so the negotiable instruments, there are various circumstances which is going to happen that we are going to learn here. Notice of dishonor. Okay, it is a kind of a notice that is being given after the dishonor of negotiable instruments. Noting and protesting. Negotiable instruments. So what is negotiable instruments? The name itself, it is going to say it have the negotiable nature. Means negotiable nature is nothing but transferability nature. It is a transferable nature. So what happens? This negotiable instruments can be transferred easily from one person to another person, and also it have the monetary value, means which had been mentioned in the negotiable instruments. It is equivalent to the cash. Okay, so a negotiable instrument is a written document that governs all the payment and specific amount of money either on demand or at set time. Okay, so what it is going to say, it is a document, okay, so which is going to mention about the money. It is going to make a promise regarding the payment of money, so on the basis of demand at a specified period of time. Say for example, I'm going to issue a check for Mr. A. Okay, so I'm supposed to mention the specified amount, okay, specific amount, and in the same way at what date he can withdraw the money. So that I'm supposed to specify, that we call it as a negotiable instrument. Okay, so in all the kinds of negotiable instruments, whether it is bills of exchange, whether it is a promissory note, and whether it is a check, okay, so there is a date or the amount that is been mentioned. So as I said, the name itself, it is going to say, so it is a negotiable instrument. It can be transferable. It is transferable from one person to another person. Easily it can be transferred from one person to another person, and the transferee become a legal holder with full rights to the instrument. Okay, so what happened? So it is a process which is going to happen between two parties, transferor and transferee. So the one who is going to transferor, the one who is going to receive the negotiable instrument, he become a transferee. Means this act, it is going to give the complete ownership right to the transferee. Once if I am going to transfer the bills of exchange, once I am going to transfer the check, it is going to give a complete ownership right to the transferee. Means the collector or the receiver of the check. Free from defects in the title of previous holder. So it is free from defects when compared to the previous holder. Means when a previous holder, means the transferor, when the instrument get transferred from transferor to the transferee, so there is no right of the transferor towards that particular negotiable instruments. The term is defined under section 13 subsection 1 of the Negotiable Instruments Act 1881. Okay, it is going to define, this definition is given by the act regarding the negotiable instrument. Okay, so what exactly the negotiable instrument according to the Negotiable Instrument Act 1881? The negotiable instrument means a promissory note, bills of exchange, or check. So these 3 instruments that we call it as a negotiable instrument, which have a transferable nature either to order or to bearer. Okay, so either it may be order or it may be bearer. Next one, characteristics of negotiable instruments. There are certain characteristics that we must consider of the negotiable instruments. So negotiable instrument is a written document. So means all the terms and conditions, okay, is been specified. Okay, so in promissory note, in bills of exchange, and also in terms of check also, it may be in terms of signature of party. Okay, and in the same way, the date of withdrawal, the withdrawal money. Okay, so all the things is, it is that we call it as a written document. It is transferable in nature. The name itself, it is going to say it is negotiable instrument. It have a transferability nature. Right of ownership, it is nothing but the transfer of ownership from the payer to payee. Better title to bona fide transferee. Okay, so it is going to give a better ownership title to the transferee, the one who is going to collect the negotiable instrument, that we call it as a better title. Means there is no defects or defaults with the ownership of the transferee. It creates the right, means the transferee have a complete right on the transferor after collecting the negotiable instrument, whether it is a check, whether it is a bills of exchange or promissory note. Okay, it is going to create the right. Easy negotiability. So the transferability of the negotiable instrument, as I said in the meaning, it is very easy to transfer from one person to another person legally under the court of law. Free from defects. So it is free from defects. The ownership title does not have any kind of the defect. Means once if he is going to issue the check, bills of exchange or the promissory note, it is equivalent to the cash. There is no other questions. No need to worry. No need for notice. So means the transferee need not to notice regarding the terms and conditions regarding the negotiable instruments. Kinds of negotiable instruments. There are various kinds of negotiable instruments. Promissory note. So it is a kind of the promise which is made by a person for the payment of a specified amount, okay, by some consideration, okay, within a specified period of time, that we call it as a promissory note. So here this promissory note can be used in official business and also in personal life as well. Bills of exchange. So it has been utilized by the entrepreneurs. For example, so we are going to import the product. Okay, we are supposed to sign the bills of exchange instead of making the payment within specified period of time. We are supposed to make the payment to the foreign exporters. Check. So already we know there are various kinds of check. We are going to use the check. Okay, so check is a negotiable instrument which if I want to pay sum of money within that particular date, okay, so if I want to make a formal transaction, okay, so I can issue the check. Okay, certificates of deposit. Okay, this is very important thing. Okay, certificates of deposit, it is also a negotiable instrument. Okay, this kind of negotiable instrument is issued by the bank. Means say for example, if I want to save the money, I'm going to open a savings account. Okay, so this certificate of deposit is also like a saving account deposit, where we are supposed to deposit a lump sum of amount for a specified period of time. Okay, like fixed deposit. Okay, so for example, I'm supposed to deposit 10 lakh rupees in a bank. I can withdraw after 3 years. Okay, so the term and condition will be previously mentioned in the bank in terms and conditions of certificate of deposit. Money order. Okay, so we can easily send the money in post office, okay, up to 50,000 rupees by using this money order. Okay, so if you want to transfer the money from one person to another person, so by the post office, by the bank, we can do what? Money orders. Bearer's bond. Okay, so bearer's bond, it is a kind of a negotiable instrument. Okay, so which can be transformed easily, and in the same way, it is a best option for investment. Okay, so like bank deposit or the fixed deposit, it is a deposit on the particular bonds. Okay, so what happens? The amount get increased when compared to the normal bank deposit. It is a kind of the investment which we are going to utilize for the intention of ROI. Okay, so if you are going to expect the higher return on investment, we can invest on this bearer bond. It is a easily transferable. Bank draft. So already we know that. Okay, so bank draft, it is a written document, okay, which have the transferable nature. Okay, so we can send the money and also we can borrow the money by using this bank draft. Features of a promissory note. Promissory note have its own features. Okay, first one, written agreement. So promissory note is an written agreement. All the terms and conditions, it's been mentioned in the promissory note. It is a printed or the written agreement. Means agreement means it is going to happen between two parties. Okay, pay defined amount. Say for example, if I issue 10,000 rupees check, I am supposed to pay 10,000. 20,000 check, 20,000. So pay defined amount. There we are going to previously defined before issuing the check or the negotiable instrument the sum of the amount. Signed document. Okay, so before issuing of this negotiable instrument, okay, so we are supposed to duly sign the document. Okay, duly we are supposed to sign the document, whether it is a check, promissory note, or bills of exchange. Okay, so here without sign, this document does not have value. Okay, so it is a signed document that we say. It is a unconditional promise. Okay, so issuing this negotiable instrument is a kind of a unconditional promise. Means it is a kind of a promise that is made by one person to another person. Okay, apart of any kind of uncertainty which is going to happen. Just I give you the example. So there are two parties. Okay, so this is Mr. A and this is Mr. B. Okay, A and B. Okay, so what happens? So Mr. B should pay, okay, 10,000 rupees. Okay, 10,000 rupees to Mr. A because he had borrowed as a debt. Okay, from Mr. A. Okay, he is liable to pay 10,000 rupees. Okay, so he is going to make a promise saying that within 10th of next month, I am going to pay you 10,000 rupees. But he does not have trust on Mr. B. He is going to say, give either promissory note or you can issue check for dated next month, 10th of next month. Okay, so what happened? So he is going to sign the check or draft and he is going to issue it. But next month, Mr. B cannot say that, okay, so after my salary or if they issue my salary, I'm going to give you or else I won't give you. So there must be no terms and conditions. For example, so somebody else have to give money to Mr. B. He cannot say that, okay, if he give the money to me, I'm going to give you the money. Okay, so it does not happen in terms of negotiable instruments. So there is no unconditional, means this kind of condition will be not accepted under the Negotiable Instrument Act 1881. Legal compensation. Okay, so here there are certain legalities that has been formulated by the law, that is Indian law. Okay, so it is a legal compensation that we can say, means we must be followed by both the parties. If he failed to fulfill his obligation, if he failed to fulfill his obligation, so they get compensated by the court of law. Detailed information. Okay, so in terms of negotiable instrument, all the information that has been given about the negotiable instrument, okay, whether it is about payee or payer, okay, so it is a specific information that is been mentioned in negotiable instrument. Hence I can say it is, these are the features of negotiable instrument. Types of promissory note. Okay, so promissory note is a kind of a negotiable instrument, as I said. So there are various kinds of a promissory note. So how we can, so as I said, this promissory note can be used for the official purpose and also for the personal purpose. It can happen between one entity and another entity, and it can happen between one individual and a legal entity. Okay, so it is personal and official. Simple promissory note. So simple promissory note we can utilize for the personal purpose. It is a kind of the promise that is made by a person for the payment of a specified amount of money. Student loan promissory note. So the name itself, it is going to say, so if a student want to take a loan from the bank, from the end of the bank, so he have to get this student promissory note. Means he is going to sign the student promissory note. It is a kind of the promise that is made by the student. Okay, within the specified period of time, I am liable to pay the sum of money which is granted by the bank. Personal loan promissory note. If I'm going to take personal loan from any of the banks, okay, so it is a promissory note of which I'm supposed to sign to the banker saying that within the specified period of time, I'm ready to pay the sum of money. Car promissory note. While purchasing the car, it is a promissory note where all the features, all the things, all the problems or any kind of the features that is included in the car will be mentioned in the car promissory note while purchasing a car, whether it is a first hand or whether it is a second hand transaction. Commercial promissory note. Commercial promissory note, it is opposite for this simple promissory note. Okay, all the commercial financial transaction that is going to happen in a commercial promissory note, all in the formal way. Okay, so it is informal means like in personal life that we can issue this, but in terms of commercial, all the commercial aspect, whether it is a business, okay, so it is going to happen between two parties. investment promissory note. Okay, investment promissory note, it is a kind of a promise regarding the assurance regarding the return on investment on the and the investment money that is being given. If we are going to invest on shares, if we are going to invest on debentures, there is assurance that is being given by the end of the company, or investment on bond or any other thing. Real estate promissory note regarding the transfer of property, regarding the transfer of land and building. Okay, so there is a agreement which is going to happen that we call it as a real estate promissory note. Okay, it is a kind of a promise that is being made. Okay, these are the kinds of promissory note that is available. Features of bills of exchange. So this bills of exchange is one of the promissory note. Okay, so it is a written document. This bills of exchange is a written document. So it is going to happen between two parties. One is a issuer and another one is a receiver, promisor and promisee. Unconditional order means it is unconditional in nature. It is unconditional order. Okay, so if I'm going to issue the check of 10,000 rupees, okay, so I cannot say if somebody else give me 10,000, I can pay you, or else I cannot pay you. I am not, this kind of the conditions, it does not apply for this Negotiable Instrument Act. Okay, so if I'm going to issue the check of 10,000 rupees, okay, so if that check get bounced, okay, he have a complete right to go against me under a court of law. Means I am liable to pay that sum of 10,000 rupees to him. Once the check is issued, that is happen. Payment date. Okay, we are supposed to mention the payment date in bills of exchange. Acceptance. Okay, so there must be a clear and the confident acceptance from the end of the receiver. Endorsement. So it is a formal way how we are going to make all the formalities either regarding the payee or payer. Legal enforceability. All the terms and conditions or the enforceability which is going to happen legal in nature. Currency. So this bills of exchange, whether it is a promissory note, whether it is a check, okay, so everything which is going to happen in terms of currency, in terms of money. Okay, so in America or in any other foreign countries, their currency. In India, it is mentioned in terms of rupee. Types of bills of exchange. Okay, so documentary bill. Okay, so all the commercial transaction which is going to happen in this documentary bill. Okay, so it is a kind of a documentary evidence for the approval for the payment of the sum of money which is going to make. Demand bill. So on the basis of on demand, we are going to give the bills of exchange that we call it as a demand bill. Inland bill. Inland bill, the name itself, it is going to say all the transaction which is going to happen inside the country. Okay, so that we are going to issue the inland bill. So the clean bill, it is usually used in international trade. Okay, so what happened, it is a assurance that is being given by the entity regarding the transferability and also regarding the quality and also the condition of a product from one seller to another seller. Foreign bill. So it is an international transaction that is going to happen. Okay, so from between two parties or the two people of different countries, that we call it as a foreign countries. For our country, if any transaction is going to happen between the foreign people, that we call it as a foreign bill. Accommodation bill, the name itself, it is going to say it is about the accommodation. Trade bill. Okay, so it is a bill that has been issued in trade activities. Okay, features of check. This check is issued by individuals or any legal entity. Okay, so what happens? So a legal entity also can issue the check. A individual person also can issue the check. Fixed amount. So we are going to make a promise of payment of a fixed amount. Means I am going to mention 10,000 rupees. The payment is going to happen for 10,000 rupees only, not more than or less than 10,000 rupees. Formal order or payment. Okay, so it is a kind of a formal order or the formal kind of a payment that is going to happen between two parties. Okay, so if they are going to issue the check, okay, so whether it is a legal entity or an individual person, oh, okay, we have a complete right on them in case of dishonor of check or the negotiable instrument. Validity and authorization. Okay, so it have the validity, the expiry. Each and every check have its own expiry date, and also it have its own authorization, the authorized person. MYSUR code means in every check you can notice 9-digit MYSUR code. Okay, it is nothing but magnetic ink character recognition. It will be mentioned in blank ink. The parties of negotiable instruments. So who are all the parties who is present in terms of a negotiable instrument? The drawer or the maker. Okay, so the drawer and the maker. Okay, so the one maker is nothing but one who is going to issue it. The drawer is one who is going to collect it. It is a transaction which is going to happen between the drawer and the drawee, the one who is going to collect, payee. Okay, so drawee and payee means payee is going to pay the amount, he is going to collect the amount. Holder, he is the person one who is going to hold the negotiable instrument. Holder in due course, okay, in terms of the due, okay, he is the one who is going to hold the instrument. Endorser, he is the person one who is going to make the profit or giving the assurance regarding the particular thing. Endorser is the person one who is going to take the profit. Endorsement, it is nothing but the formality or the legality that is according to the Negotiable Instrument Act. Dishonor of negotiable instrument. Okay, so what exactly the dishonor of a negotiable instrument? Dishonor of negotiable instrument refers to a person's incapability or reluctance to honor a negotiable document. Okay, so to honor a negotiable document, it is a problem with the person, such as a promissory note, check. Okay, so when it come in terms of a promissory note or check, some probable reasons for the dishonor of a negotiable instruments include stop payment order, insufficient funds, or mismatch between the agreements, provisions, and instrument itself. So if there is any break between the two parties, okay, whether it in come in terms of is not liable, he is not capable of paying the money, whether it in terms of insufficient fund, or if there is any breakage which is going to happen between the payer and payee, okay, so that we call it as a dishonor. Just I will give you example. So Mr. A issue check to me, okay, so sum of 10,000 rupees. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go to the bank and I'm going to encash the check. If I go to the bank, okay, so there is no money in his account. So what happened? The check get bounced. Okay, so if a check get bounced due to any of the reason, that we call it as a dishonor of negotiable instruments, means the one who had promised me to pay sum of money, that is Mr. A, he failed to do so, means I have complete right. If he failed to do so, I have complete right against him under a court of law. I can go to the court of law and I can claim against him. So there are it is classified into two categories. Okay, dishonor by non acceptance. Okay, so if a receiver he failed to accept the thing, okay, means accept the check or whatever it is. Okay, dishonor by non-payment. Okay, so non-acceptance also happens, dishonor by non-payment also happens. Non-acceptance can happen from the end of the receiver, but non-payment can happen from the end of a giver. Next concept, noting. Noting refers to the formal process in which the dishonor of the negotiable instrument, such as check, bills of exchange, or promissory note. So it is a kind of a dishonor of negotiable instrument that we call it as a noting. Okay, in terms of check, bills of exchange, or promissory note. It is authenticated by the notary public, means before making a big agreement, okay, so we are going under the notary, means it is a kind of the approval, that legal approval that has been given by the end of the government. The notary records the reasons for the dishonor, the date, and other relevant details. Okay, so it is these are the reasons for the dishonor, ensuring that a formal legal record is maintained. Okay, so it is going to ensure that a legal kind of the document that is been mentioned by maintained. And if we go through the notary, okay, so it is going to hold a major part as a evidence when it come in terms of a legal aspect. Okay, should any dispute happens, okay, regarding the non-payment or non-acceptance of the instrument. So if there is any defect or the default that is going to happen regarding the non-payment or the non-effect, so it is going to help, that we call it as a noting. So the features of noting, which are all the features that is included in noting. So it is a first or the initial formal act that we call it as a noting, means it is like a precaution that we are going to take before making any kind of the payment or the agreement. Records dishonor, means here what happens, there is a dishonor of the record. Okay, so whether it come in terms of a payee or payer. Provides legal evidence. Okay, so it is going to show the documentary evidence regarding the transaction which is going to happen between two parties. And this noting preserves the right of the promisee. timely action. So it is the action that is being made within the specified period of time. So because it is a kind of a negotiable instrument, in the negotiable instrument there are certain times and conditions that is being strictly followed by both the parties. Protesting is a formalized and enhanced version of noting, wherein the notary public issues an official certificate certifying the dishonor of the negotiable instrument. Means if a notary it is going to issue regarding the dishonor of the negotiable instrument, while noting records the dishonor, protesting adds and higher level of formality and documentation. Means it is an updated version when compared to this noting, okay, that we call it as a protesting is particularly important in case of involving foreign bills of exchange. Okay, so when it come in terms of a foreign bills of exchange, the transaction which is going to happen from the foreign country, and often it is required for the international transaction. So as I said, it is the transaction which is going to happen between the foreign countries, because inside the country we can go with this noting. So if it is the foreign transaction, we can go with noting. According to the laws, the country where the bill was drawn, okay, so where we can go legally means where the country where the bills has been withdrawn, we can go legally with this. Okay, so there are certain characteristics of this noting. Okay, it is a kind of a collective action, so it is happening between the foreign country and our country. Okay, so it is a collective action which is been decided and been implemented legally. Public expression, okay, so it is a kind of the public expression, okay, which is been given if he feel uncomfortable with the payment, or if there is any defect or the default in the payment which is going to happen between the transaction. Risk and sacrifice, so there is a risk while the transaction which is going to happen, okay, and also there is a sacrifice. There is a emotional intensity, but there is no emotional intensity when it comes in terms of other negotiable instrument. Here it is a emotional intensity. Adaptability, okay, so we are supposed to get adjusted for the scenario or the condition according to the act. In the next session we are going with unit 4. It is about Consumer Protection Act 1986. Thank you.